Red sneakers and cookie dreams. Sugar, spice, and everything nice, that's what cookies are made of. Lily belted out slightly off-key along with the radio. Her red sneakers tapped a rhythm against the car floor as she navigated the familiar route home. Each stoplight was a drumbeat, each turn a flourish in her improvised concert. She couldn't wait to christen her new kitchen with a batch of her famous chocolate chunk cookies. The car, affectionately nicknamed Betsy, shuddered to a halt in front of her apartment building. Lily wrestled with the grocery bags, the paper straining against the weight of flour, butter, and, most importantly, chocolate chips. She grunted, hoisting 2 bags onto one shoulder, the handles digging into her skin. A third bag swung precariously from her other hand. Almost there, she muttered to herself, her breath puffing out in little white clouds. She envisioned the warm, gooey cookies, their chocolatey aroma filling the entire apartment. She'd arrange them artfully on a plate, maybe even drizzle them with a delicate icing. It was more than just baking, it was an art form. She imagined biting into one, the soft center melting in her mouth, the perfect balance of sweet and salty. Suddenly, the bag in her hand ripped. A carton of eggs tumbled out, splattering across the pavement in a sticky yellow mess. No! Lily cried, her cookie dream momentarily shattered. She glared at the torn bag, a wave of frustration washing over her. Now she had to clean this up, and she was already so close to cookie perfection. The watchful eye. The sheer lace curtain trembled as Karen van der Linde adjusted the blinds, a sliver of light slicing across her powdered cheek. Across the street, Lily was back. Karen's lips thinned. Back from wherever it was these newcomers disappeared to, leaving their lawns untended and their houses, frankly, an eyesore. A delivery truck emblazoned with the garish logo of Grocery Galaxy idled in front of Lily's pastel blue bungalow. Karen's frown deepened, etching lines into the landscape of her face. 1, 2, 3, 6. 6 overflowing bags were being hauled inside. What on earth did one person need with that much food? It was excessive. Karen muttered under her breath, her voice tight with disapproval. Really bringing down the neighborhood, aren't we? Standards simply vanishing. She imagined the state of Lily's refrigerator, a chaotic jumble of wilted greens and half-eaten leftovers, breeding germs and attracting pests. She straightened her spine, a plan already forming. A gentle reminder, perhaps, about community guidelines. Discreet, of course. No need to cause a scene. But something had to be done. This blatant disregard for order couldn't be allowed to fester. The property values, after all, were at stake. And Karen van der Linde would not stand idly by while her investment, her legacy, crumbled around her. She adjusted the blinds again, the sliver of light now illuminating a glint of determination in her eye. Accusations in the afternoon. The sun beat down on Lily's back as she wrestled the last bag of groceries from the trunk. Bright yellow peppers peeked from the top, a stark contrast to the manicured green lawn. She hummed, already picturing the ratatouille she'd make. Suddenly, a shadow fell across her. Karen van der Linde, her face a mask of disapproval, marched onto Lily's property like she owned it. The click-clack of her heels on the pavement echoed in the afternoon stillness. "Those groceries," Karen said, her voice tight, "they're in violation of HOA Regulation 3.2, subsection B. All bulk deliveries exceeding 2 bags are to be delivered to the community pantry for equitable distribution." Lily stared, momentarily speechless. "What? These are my groceries. I bought them at Farmer Pete's." Karen's perfectly manicured finger stabbed the air. "Don't play coy with me, young lady. We all saw you unloading them. That's enough food to feed a family for a week. It's clearly intended for communal use. And those organic vegetables? Utterly wasted on a child. They belong to the community." Lily felt a flush creep up her neck. "That's ridiculous. I need these for my art project." Karen scoffed. "Art project? With bell peppers? Don't insult my intelligence. Now, be a good girl and bring them over to the clubhouse. We can sort it out there." Cookie cravings and community property. Karen's eyes widened, a predatory gleam igniting within them. "Chocolate chips? And flour? Lily, darling, are you thinking of cookies?" She practically vibrated with anticipation. Imagine the aroma wafting through the cul-de-sac, the perfectly browned edges, the gooey center. Lily clutched the grocery bag tighter. Maybe, maybe not. It's none of your business, anyway. Karen's smile faltered, replaced by a tightening around her lips. Now, Lily, let's not be selfish. We're a community here. Think of the children. Think of me. She reached for the bag, her manicured nails glinting in the afternoon sun. It's only fair that everyone gets to enjoy the fruits, or, in this case, the cookies of our collective resources. Lily recoiled, stepping back towards her porch. Collective resources? I paid for these. With my own money. I earned it. She hoisted the bag higher, the paper handles digging into her fingers. But everything belongs to the community, dear, Karen insisted, her voice taking on that shrill, demanding edge Lily was beginning to recognize. We all contribute. Therefore, we all share? Those are the rules. Now hand over the ingredients and I'll be sure to bake a batch for everyone. Naturally. Her eyes flickered back to the chocolate chips, a possessive hunger burning within them. Lily stood firm, planting her feet. No. These are mine. The receipt of truth. Lily rummaged in her jeans pocket, the paper crinkling like dry leaves. I have the receipt, she announced, pulling it out triumphantly. It was crumpled, a testament to its journey from the checkout line to her pocket, but legible. She smoothed it out on the surprisingly clean hood of Karen's SUV. Karen scoffed, the sound sharp and dismissive. A receipt? Please. Do you think I was born yesterday? Anyone can pick up a receipt. She crossed her arms, the floral print of her dress straining slightly across her chest. The scent of her perfume, something cloyingly sweet, hung heavy in the air. Lily pointed a finger at the paper. It has my name on it, see? Lily Chin. And it lists all the groceries. The organic blueberries, the almond milk, even the weird seaweed snacks I like. She tapped the small print with a painted fingernail. A ladybug, meticulously rendered in miniature, adorned the nail. Karen leaned in, her nose wrinkling. A flash of gold from her oversized earrings caught the sun. That could be anyone's name. Besides, she said, straightening up, I doubt a child like you could afford all this organic nonsense. Her gaze flicked dismissively at the bags. Probably stole it from your parents. The accusation stung. Lily balled her hands into fists, digging her nails into her palms. The ladybug threatened to smudge. I didn't steal anything, she said, her voice rising. These are my groceries. I paid for them with my own money. The humid air seemed to thicken, pressing down on her. This wasn't just about groceries anymore, it was about being believed. A call to arms and police. Karen's face bloomed crimson, little veins throbbing at her temples. You think this is a joke, young lady? Those groceries are community property. For the community garden luncheon next week. Lily's brow furrowed. But I bought these. With my own money. I have the receipt in the bag. She gestured weakly at the reusable tote at her feet, overflowing with vibrant peppers and ripe tomatoes. The aroma of fresh basil wafted upwards, a stark contrast to the brewing storm in Karen's eyes. Receipts can be forged, Lily, Karen spat, her voice dripping with disdain. Lily flinched, the air crackled with a sudden, unpleasant tension. Her initial confusion morphed into a prickling fear. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was something else entirely. Karen's hand plunged into her oversized purse, emerging with a phone the size of a small brick. I've had enough. I'm calling the police. Theft is a serious offense, and I won't tolerate it in this community. Lily's heart hammered against her ribs. The cheerful chirp of birds in the nearby trees suddenly sounded mocking. Karen puffed out her chest, dramatically punching in 3 numbers. The phone pressed to her ear, she glared at Lily, a triumphant sneer twisting her lips. Yes, hello? I'd like to report a theft in progress. Sirens and shopping lists. The shrill wail grew louder, bouncing off the manicured lawns and pristine facades of the cul-de-sac. Red and blue lights pulsed through the sheer curtains of the Van Derlen's living room, painting dancing shadows on Karen's shocked face. Lily, however, felt a surprising surge of calm. 2 officers emerged from the cruiser, their expressions unreadable. Karen, regaining her composure, puffed out her chest. Officer, she began, her voice dripping with indignation, this girl was attempting to steal my groceries right off the communal cart. I caught her red-handed. Lily stepped forward, holding up her receipt. Actually, officer, she said politely, these are my groceries. I just bought them at Fresh Farms. She pointed to the items still in the cart, a bag of organic lemons, a package of artisanal pasta, and a particularly vibrant bunch of kale. Mrs. van der Linde seemed to think they were hers and became quite insistent. She recounted the events, emphasizing Karen's escalating demands and the unreasonable nature of the accusations. One officer, a young woman with a close-cropped haircut, raised an eyebrow. The other, a burly man with a neatly trimmed mustache, stifled a chuckle. They exchanged a quick, amused glance. Mrs. van der Linde, the female officer said, her voice carefully neutral. Perhaps there was a misunderstanding. Karen sputtered, but the HOA regulations. Shared resources. Lily resisted the urge to roll her eyes. The regulations apply to the communal garden tools, Mrs. van der Linde, not my dinner ingredients. She smiled sweetly, a stark contrast to the simmering anger she felt inside. The air still tasted faintly of citrus, but now it was laced with the distinct tang of approaching justice. Humiliation and retreat. The taller of the two officers, a woman with kind eyes, turned to Karen. Ma'am, we've confirmed with Ms. Chin that these are, in fact, her groceries. We understand there might have been a misunderstanding, but we can't allow this kind of behavior. Her voice was gentle but firm, a tone usually reserved for calming down stray dogs and confused tourists. Karen's face, already flushed, deepened to a furious crimson. She opened her mouth, likely to unleash another torrent of accusations, but the officer held up a hand. No need for further explanation, ma'am. We just need you to leave Ms. Chun alone. Lily watched as Karen's shoulders visibly slumped. The fight seemed to drain out of her, replaced by a petulant, simmering rage. She snatched her purse from the ground, the snap of the clasp echoing in the sudden silence. Disrespectful children, Karen muttered, loud enough for Lily and the officers to hear. No respect for elders anymore. Living in my neighborhood. The rest of her grievances trailed off as she stomped away, her sensible shoes clicking angrily on the paved path. She didn't look back, but Lily could practically feel the heat of her resentment radiating outwards. Cookies, community, and change. The scent of warm vanilla and cinnamon filled Lily's kitchen, chasing away the lingering unpleasantness of Karen's accusations. Lily hummed, carefully arranging chocolate chips on a tray of snickerdoodles. Baking always made her feel better. Today, it felt like a small act of rebellion. Once cooled, she carefully packed the cookies into paper bags, tying each with a bright yellow ribbon. Operation Sweeten the Neighborhood, she whispered to Mr. Fluffernutter, her hamster, before heading out. Mrs. Rodriguez beamed as Lily offered her bag. Ay, Mija, you are an angel. These smell heavenly. Next door, Mr. Abernathy, usually gruff, cracked a smile, his eyes twinkling. Well now, aren't you a thoughtful young lady? As Lily made her rounds, a curious thing happened. Neighbors started talking, sharing their own Karen stories. The unpaid fines for unapproved garden gnomes, the nitpicking over holiday decorations, the sheer unpleasantness of every HOA meeting. Mrs. Rodriguez, emboldened, produced a pre-printed petition to remove Karen as president. Soon, signatures blossomed across the page like spring flowers. The special meeting was short and sweet. Karen, face flushed crimson, sputtered objections, but the vote was unanimous. A collective sigh of relief swept through the room as Mr. Abernathy, nominated on the spot, accepted the presidency. He promised simpler rules, friendlier gatherings, and maybe even a neighborhood bake-off. Lily smiled, a warm, hopeful feeling blooming in her chest. Cookies, it seemed, could change the world one bite at a time.